I'm Spirit Keeper, and I give you a reason for every season. And Spirit Halloween has just revealed part of their animatronic lineup. I'm completely at a loss of words as we have just gotten some of the animatronics for Spirit Halloween's 2026 season revealed. Now, I do want to first say before diving into this is that last night we did actually get some of the listings of the animatronics, their names getting switched around instead of being the staple anim, which is why I did believe that we would get something today, and I was proven right. Now, I do want to apologize for this video coming out a tiny bit later than I did want to because I am still in school, so I did have to get picked up, so I couldn't get it out the earliest possible. But once again, I do apologize about that, but I can truly not contain my excitement because Spirit Halloween has just revealed a lot of their brand new animatronics, so let's talk about it. Now, I feel like it only makes the most sense to kick this video off with the animatronic that's got me the most excited, with this being Crackles. Now, when we did first get the first look at this animatronic, I was already a huge fan of it and knew that I was going to love it. But now that we have just gotten the official listing, I will say that I love this thing even more than I did originally. Now, one thing I do want to mention before diving into the animation and everything like that is that his face does crack open. But about that, his face design, which is one of the things that I was the most worried about, with the seam going right down the center, being very visible. However, Spirit covered that up very nicely by adding extra cracks on his face to show that that kind of is the whole effect of the animatronic and not just one giant seam down the middle that you can see. But now diving into this guy's animation, his face literally splits in half, revealing a brand new demon face underneath, and it has mouth movement. That is something that I would truly never expect from an animatronic because typically in retail, I will be completely honest, they kind of lack out when it does come to the animation. But what Spirit has done, that they've actually given the prop on the inside when his face does crack open, mouth movement. Now, another thing about this prop that is 100% my favorite part is the face inside, as it's some sort of demon, which you can see almost like a red flesh skin tone of like blood or something like that, and I just think it looks so amazing, especially for a clown animatronic because typically they're supposed to be more friendly and they just don't look too great. But this one, the color scheme on Crackles is also amazing. I did already place an order for Crackles, and I should have that unboxing on Monday, as that's the day that he should end up arriving, as I did get 1 day shipping. But diving into the prop again, the color scheme on this, the pink and the blue, that's always been one of my favorite color schemes for clown animatronics, as I feel like the vibrant pink and then the baby blue really just goes together really well, especially for a clown. As if they're going for the colorful route, I feel like those are probably two of the strongest color schemes that can go on the clown. And another thing I know to mention is that on his ruffles, it does actually have a blood stain, which I mean, props to Spirit because as you know, they typically don't get into the whole blood stuff, but I feel like on Crackles, you don't want a whole lot of blood because it's just his face. But I feel like right on the ruffles around his neck, it really does work. And he's being retailed for only $250, and he stands at 6.5 feet tall. And another thing I do want to mention, he is outdoor rated. Yes, you heard me correctly, Crackles is outdoor rated, which I feel like is just so crazy on top of all the extra things to him, and him being retailed for only $250. There's Crackles. Next up is a prop that's got people probably the most excited when it does come to Spirit, with this one being Pumpkin Punisher, and this one does stand at 7 feet tall. Now, this is a really unique take on a pumpkin animatronic because it's just sort of the head that's that pumpkin-esque, and the hands do appear to be some sort of green and then a red tint in the center. It's really weird, and it's kind of throwing me off with the overall design or what this prop is even supposed to be. But the pumpkin character is holding an axe, and his animation is actually a jump scare that he does sort of lurch forward or downward. And we don't actually have an official demo video on the listing of his website page. However, if we do go to the Spirit Scene video viewer, we do actually have a demo of this animatronic, and I feel like it's just really cool. But probably my favorite part about this prop is the actual face sculpt. It's obviously supposed to be a pumpkin, but then the mouth just looks so amazing, as the mouth is like spread out, but then the teeth are right in the center. You can see like around it and everything. I think it looks really great, and the sculpt on this thing is really good, so I do want to applaud Spirit on that because the sculpt work on this overall animatronic is just really phenomenal. And even the axe, the painting on the axe does look really nice, and it does look pretty realistic. Pumpkin Punisher is being retailed for $350, which, to be completely honest, I don't think that's entirely worth it, as it is not outdoor rated, which is kind of shocking that this one is 7 feet tall and it's not even outdoor rated. But I feel like $350 for just a pretty simple jump scare, it's not really worth it in my personal opinion. However, I am actually thinking about buying this prop along with the next one that I will be talking about in just a second. So if you guys do want me to end up buying this one or both of them, make sure to let me know down in the comments below, because I am decided in the middle whether or not which one I do want to get. But moving on to the next one, we have Michael Myers. Now, this animatronic was actually supposed to originally release at Trick or Treat Studios last year. However, it did end up getting canceled or delayed because of tariffs, and Spirit has picked it up for 2026, which I'm so happy about, because this is probably one of the best Michael Myers animatronics we have ever gotten, period, because this thing just looks so accurate to the original Halloween film, which is what it's based off of, especially with the mask work. And we did already know about this from Shipping Manifest, that we did know that Spirit was going to be picking up this item, but now seeing it in all of its glory, it looks so good. And this is the other one that I am undecided to get. I'm either going to get this one, Pumpkin Punisher, or both. So let me know down in the comments below which ones you would want to see an unboxing on, or which one you would rather. But more on Michael Myers, this thing is just so accurate to the Halloween films. It's just so crazy. And he does also have the music tracks of the main Halloween thing and then Laurie's theme, which are something that Michael Myers animatronics always struggle with, which is really sad to say, because they can never quite get that original Halloween soundtrack, which I feel like is just so odd and bizarre. Something that is being updated from the original model from Trick or Treat Studios is the arm animation. Now, that's something that I was a huge fan of, because it did actually have the wrist rotation, which was a brand new animatronic that we have never seen before in retail history. But now it's much more fluid and lifelike as his whole arm rises up while his wrist twists, which I think is really cool and much more fluid compared to what a regular human would do, which I feel like is definitely for the better. And the hand sculpt also did get updated, and it looks really nice. You can see all the veins inside there, but I feel like this one is just so cool. The only thing I do want to say is that his legs are spread out quite far, which is the only thing that I'm a bit concerned about for his animatronic. But besides that, I really do not have any complaints. And this one is being retail for $350. After that is Harvey Carvy. Now, this thing is growing on me by the second, because this is just such an amazing looking animatronic, and it really captures the overall vibe of Halloween really good, as this is a classic pumpkin animatronic. And the concept is probably my favorite part about this, as in the audio it does talk about how he scooped out his brains and everything, and he is holding a knife in one hand and then a spoon in the other, showing that he carved himself, which is actually his original name, I Carved Myself. And you can just see that the face looks amazing, but the concept is what really does capture the overall animatronic, which you do kind of need to hear the audio to understand it. But I feel like the storytelling with him just having the spoon and the knife does it so well itself. And this is also supposed to be a little kid animatronic, which it does stand at 4 feet tall, which I think works really good. And I can't wait to see this thing in person, unless I do end up buying it before flagship does end up opening. And another thing is, his animation is absurd, as not only the hand with the knife moves up and down, but the hand with the spoon also does. And his head actually has a different animation than going side to side, as it actually sort of tilts back and forth, which I think is really cool. And this thing just has a ton of animation for a product that is only being retailed for, get this, $150, which is probably why I am leaning more towards getting this, because it's $200 less expensive than Pumpkin Punisher for a product that looks this good. So I guess you will stay tuned. Then we do have Jeremy Jowls, and I do want to mention that this thing does look a lot better than I was anticipating it to be, and he is sort of a reskin of the Bog Zombie from 2022, but the main feature on this guy is that his jaw and his eye does drop out of the sockets, which I think is a really cool effect. However, I don't think it was pulled off too great, as you can see these two bright red strings attached to it, which, I mean, they don't even look like nerves, which is what they're supposed to be, which is why I'm just not a huge fan of this thing. I think the paint on the head and just the overall sculpt and even the weathering on the clothing looks phenomenal. However, I feel like the animation with the jaw dropping and the eye with that red string attached just really doesn't do for me. Even the eye itself just looks super fake, which you can't tell, which is why I'm not too fond of this animatronic. However, it is being retailed for $250, which I don't think is all that bad for a 6 foot tall animatronic and a great sculpt like this. However, for me personally, I'm just not a huge fan of the animation with his jaw and eye dropping, as I feel like it could have been pulled off a bit better. We also did get Buzz revealed today, and this is pretty much what I was expecting this thing to end up looking like. However, I do think that the mouth does look really good on this prop, and I feel like the sculpt and everything does look neat. The only thing I'm not a huge fan of is how the only animation is the wings flapping, and the wings you can painfully tell that they are a cloth material. However, I feel like the price does kind of make up for it, with them only being $170, which I don't think is a bad price for this prop. However, I'm just saying for what you're getting and the lack of animation, I'm not entirely sure if it's worth that full price tag of $170. After Buzz, we also do have Doomsday Duo that has just been revealed, and I know tons of people have been salivating to get their hands on this, and even just to get an official demo video, and I'm just still not a huge fan of it. I feel like the face sculpt doesn't look the greatest. As for what they're going for, it's supposed to be kind of humans, but afterwards of like a post-apocalyptic type of thing, and then they do take off their gas mask, showing that they are kind of safe. And then the only thing that I don't really like is that they do put them back on after when they do reset, which I feel like could have been better executed for the animation, since they don't put them back on. If it's safe out, then why would they? But once again, I just wasn't a huge fan of this prop when we did first see it, and I feel like now I'm still just not a big fan. And I feel like the green LEDs are just really odd and out of place on this animatronic, especially on the woman's like mouth. I don't really get why it's in her mouth. And this is supposed to be like a mother and son duo animatronic, which for only $250, which is what they are being retailed for, I feel like you're getting like two animatronics for the price of one, which for $250 definitely isn't a bad price at all. I'm not saying that whatsoever. However, I feel like that this is a prop that I'm personally not interested in, and not one that I could see myself buying or using. After that is Windup Wall-E, and this thing is actually a lot better than I was expecting. As from the name, I wasn't too sure what we were going to get. However, he does actually have a wind-up key on his back, and does twist around, and then he does pop up for a pretty neat jump scare, which once again, this is just really not what I was expecting from this animatronic. However, I feel like for the concept, this is definitely the best that any retail company, not even just Spirit, probably could have done. I feel like this is something really unique, and I feel like it would have worked better on something like a robot and not so much a clown. However, I feel like it still definitely works, as this is supposed to be more of a toy clown animatronic. The only thing I would have liked better is that you can obviously painfully tell that the head is full latex, which is the only thing that I don't like about this prop. And it's being retailed for $170, which isn't a terrible price for this animatronic, as it is a pretty neat animation, and even the wind-up key concept is really cool. Next up is Carnival Creeper, which is a reskin of Nightcrawler, which has always been one of my favorite animatronics, which I sadly don't own. And Carnival Creeper is a clown take on the animation of Nightcrawler. I will say that the thing that I'm not completely sure about is why they did go with a clown for this animation. It just doesn't really make any sense, as it is supposed to be on all fours. It's supposed to be almost like a human or something that's turning into an alien, or even an alien. I feel like a clown just wasn't the way to go for this animatronic. And the other thing that I don't get is why the bottom of the mouth is attached to like a spring. As you can see throughout the demo video, it's like shaking almost, which I just don't really get why they did do that. They could have just easily attached it so it wouldn't shake all around. You can even see like the gap in it showing behind the white face of the prop. I don't even know. But aside from that, it is the same animation as Nightcrawler, and I feel like obviously you can't go wrong with that animation. One thing that I am curious about is how the setup is going to be for this prop, because on Nightcrawler it has always been very difficult. Another thing, this prop is actually outdoor rated and is being priced for only $230, which I don't think is bad at all for this prop, especially with it being outdoor rated. Just once again, I can't really get behind the whole idea of this prop being the trial. And finally for today, we have the Trash Bandit animatronic. Now I want to first mention that we have gotten many raccoon and just possum animatronics for 2026 popping out of a trash can, but I feel like this one is probably my favorite, which I do want to say I was completely dogging on this thing and saying how bad it was. However, now seeing it much better and much clearer, I will say that it's actually not as bad as I was expecting it to be. And the best part about it is that it's actually blacklight reactive, which I think is really cool, and the text or the spray paint on it that does say keep out and everything like that does actually glow up with the black light. I feel like the animation is pretty good. It's a neat jump scare, and I like how the lid does like pop up and stay on the raccoon's head. I feel like that looks really good. And even just the face on the raccoon looks a lot better than I was expecting it to be. The only thing that I don't like is that it does have like a tarp on it with cloth showing like prints of like trash, which I just don't really get why they couldn't just have a full raccoon like torso on it and then just having like trash built into the trash can that was actually 3D and not just some random cloth, which I feel like that is definitely the much cheaper route to go for this animatronic. And another thing I want to mention, this thing is outdoor rated. How is this one outdoor rated but Pumpkin Punisher is not? I just find it so odd that this raccoon prop popping out of a trash can is outdoor rated but Pumpkin Punisher isn't. To me, it just doesn't really make any sense, and I don't really get why this one is being outdoor rated and not Pumpkin Punisher. On the updated website, it does say spirithalloween.com/camp. There is a teaser, but I'm not going to dive into that because I do want to save the props demos that we haven't seen just yet for a video when they do officially release, because down at the bottom, it does say coming soon with tons of animatronics down there, including Dead Humor, which I can't wait to get my hands on. Well, there you have it, the Spirit Halloween 2026 first wave of animatronics for 2026. Now, I do want to say that yes, I am aware that we do have more demo videos than just this. However, I am waiting for their official listings to go up, as I do think that they're going to be a part of a future drop, maybe even tomorrow, which is the question that does bring up. However, for right now, I just wanted to make a video on what we do have on the website as of now, along with all of their demo videos. But make sure to leave your thoughts on these down in the comments below. And anyway, make sure to remember that I'm the Spirit Keeper and I give you a reason for every season. Bye.